What if I told you the 1970s held some riffs that reshaped rock's future? Beyond the giants like Led Zeppelin, there are 15 one-hit wonders with guitar hooks so striking they should have dominated the airwaves. Some of these tunes will spark instant memories, while others will leave you stunned they slipped away. Stick around to uncover a story, like how one riff later inspired Michael Jackson's Beat It. Let's dive into 15 forgotten guitar riffs from 1970s one-hit wonders. Ready to hear a riff that defined a generation? Let's talk about the Next My Chirona from 1979 and its iconic hook. This track burst onto the scene with a sound that blends surf rock grit with 60s R&B flair, grabbing you from the first note. That guitar riff twists a familiar vibe into something bold and new. Then that stuttering drum pattern hits, inspired by Smokey Robinson's Going to a Go-Go, pulling you right into its infectious rhythm. Its pure energy is impossible to resist. Billboard called it an energetic rocker with an urgent beat. And it's no surprise why. It led their year-end chart for 1979, staying at number 1 for 6 weeks. Fun fact, it was their record label's fastest gold debut since The Beatles. Picture hearing this in '79. That riff felt like a jolt, a burst of youthful excitement. From that surf-inspired groove, we shift to a sound that became a true call to rebellion. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. What if a riff could capture the thrill of breaking all the rules? Let's look at Brownsville Station Smokin' in the Boys' Room from 1973. This track became an anthem for anyone who wanted to push back against authority. It kicks off with a sharp side stick drum beat, layered with a delayed reverb, courtesy of a Cooper time cube, that gives the beat its edge. Then the guitar slams in, a gritty sequence across 3 strings ending in a bold chord. That raw, unpolished sound hooks you instantly. Brownsville Station fought to include this original gem on a covers-heavy album, and that authenticity shines through. High school kids made it their fight song, a symbol of defiance. When those slide licks kicked in at a high school dance, kids felt unstoppable. Fun fact, Motley Crue revived this riff in 1985, proving its lasting bite. Stick around. Next, we've got a sound that hits with unstoppable force. What if a riff could ignite an entire arena? Let's talk about Ram Jam's Black Betty from 1977 and its unrelenting power. This track hits hard with a sound that's become a staple at sports events worldwide, even though it peaked at just number 18 on the US charts. It slams in with a blazing tempo and rugged power chords. The guitar rips through smooth slides, sharp bends, and quick hammer-ons, every note buzzing with raw intensity. It's loud, gritty, and impossible to ignore. That iconic Bam-A-Lam vocal hook amps up crowds, turning any game into a surge of excitement. Guitarist Bill Bartlett brought this arrangement from his Starstruck days, reworking an old folk tune into a rock juggernaut. That energy still resonates today. Up next, we've got a riff born from a lucky studio flub that'll rev up your senses. What if a guitar could roar like a revving engine? That's Montrose's Bad Motor Scooter from 1973 and its jaw-dropping intro. This track hooks you instantly with a sound that's pure untamed energy. It starts with a distorted slide guitar that mimics a motorcycle engine. Guitarist Ronnie Montrose stumbled on this sound by experimenting in open D tuning with a fuzzbox in the studio. It's not just a riff, it's a full-on effect that sets the entire vibe. You can almost see the road stretching out ahead. This riff matters for its reckless spirit. Though Montrose's debut album peaked at just number 133, the track's influence spread through radio airplay and even inspired Eddie Van Halen. That engine roar riff became a shorthand for unbridled freedom. Let's move on. We're shifting to a sound that packs a totally different kind of punch. Ready for a sound that drives straight to your core? Let's zoom in on the Ides of March's Vehicle from 1970 and its unforgettable punch. This track grabs you with a bold, urgent horn section that fuses jazz and rock into something fierce. Those bright, brassy notes slice right through, paired with lyrics about being used like a car for someone else's convenience. Jim Peterick wrote it about unrequited love, lending the horn riff its tongue-in-cheek bitterness. That sound isn't just catchy, it's a frustrated cry turned into a relatable anthem. You feel the push in every note. Fun fact, it was the fastest-selling single for their record label at the time, proving its instant connection with listeners. Picture those horns blasting through in 1970, mixing irritation with raw power. That's why this riff endures. Stick around, next we're easing into a warmer, more wandering kind of tune.
Riding the wagon.
What if a song could whisk you away on a road trip through the 70s? Let's talk about Sammy John's Chevy van from 1973. This track carries a vibe that transports you to a time of endless horizons. It eases in with a mellow acoustic guitar line backed by the Wrecking Crew, legendary session players from Los Angeles known for elevating even the simplest riffs. Their tight G to C progression became a sound tied to 70s van culture, giving the song a warm, rolling feel that's pure nostalgia. This track paints a vivid picture of adventure. The lyrics capture a quick roadside romance, echoing the casual, liberated spirit of the era. Chevy Van sold over 1 million copies and earned gold certification, striking a chord with so many. That laid-back riff pulls you into a world of carefree possibility. Next, let's explore a sound that carries you into uncharted waters. Ready to set sail on a musical voyage? Let's take a look at Blues Image's Ride Captain Ride from 1970. This track sweeps you away with a sound that feels like a journey to somewhere unknown. It opens with a bright, catchy Fender Rhodes intro played by Mike Pinera, instantly hooking you. Then Kent Henry's guitar solo follows, echoing the Rhodes 73 key inspiration and cementing the song's dreamlike vibe, with Pinera adding more guitar at the close. The lyrics weave a tale of a mystery ship leaving San Francisco Bay with 73 men, stirring thoughts of uncharted horizons. It's all imagination and wonder. This song stands out by mixing rock with Latin rhythms, sparking a sense of hopeful exploration. Fun fact, it hit number 4 in the US and Canada, and later Blood, Sweat and Tears covered it while Fish made it a live staple. That Rhodes riff still conjures images of ocean horizons and endless possibilities. Up next, we've got a sound that tugs at something deeper in your soul. What if a guitar could capture the ache of falling hard? Let's dive into Elvin Bishop's Fooled Around and Fell in Love from 1976. This track wraps you in a warmth that's hard to shake. It stands out with a guitar solo that uses slides and hammer-ons across the fretboard to evoke warm tenderness. Bishop's skill weaves southern rock, soft rock, and R&B into a smooth flowing melody. That solo sets up the emotional payoff in the lyrics, carrying you straight into the heart of unexpected romance. It's here for that story of a playboy falling deep, striking a chord in the 70s. Bishop handed lead vocals to Mickey Thomas, a background singer in his band, showing a humble, collaborative spirit that lifted the song's impact. It hit number 3 on Billboard and later shown in the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, touching new generations. That guitar glow still lingers. Stick around for a sound that'll brighten your day. What if a song could sprinkle a little sunshine into your world? Let's talk about Pilot's Magic from 1974 and its radiant charm. This track sweeps you up with a burst of positive energy that's hard to shake. It grabs you right away with a lively guitar riff paired with vibrant synth passages. Keyboard notes by Billy Lyle mesh with David Payton's bold melodies, all set in a key that feels bright and accessible. Add an uplifting vocal, and you've got pure joy. It climbed to number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100, hit number 1 in Canada, and earned gold status there. This track earns its spot for delivering unfiltered bliss. That childlike wonder shines through every note. Fun fact, its lush harmonies often had folks mistaking it for ELO or Wings. Even Selena Gomez covered it for Wizards of Waverly Place, showing its lasting spark. That brightness stays with you. Let's keep moving to a sound now that'll rally your spirits with grit. What if a riff could fuel your determination? Let's find out more about Argent's Hold Your Head Up from 1972. This track carries a sound that still resonates with power and purpose. It grabs you with a legendary Hammond B3 solo, praised by Rick Wakeman as the greatest organ solo ever. Backed by a gruff War Machine bass line, it creates a sense of determined forward motion. Every note feels like a push to keep going, no matter the odds. This song earns its spot with a message of resilience. The chorus lifts you, urging strength through struggle. Rod Argent's keyboard work blends skill with raw emotion, stealing the show. While this hit hard, Argent's follow-up singles didn't chart on Billboard, marking their one-hit status. Even so, Fish turned this riff into a playful live tease, making it an inside joke for fans. That enduring spirit sticks with you. Stay tuned for a sound that quietly hooks your memory. What if a subtle riff could linger in your thoughts for decades? Let's look at Sniff and the Tears' Driver's Seat from 1978. This track has a quiet power that creeps in and stays with you. It starts with a guitar riff pattern that captures emotional fragmentation, a deliberate choice by the songwriter to mirror a relationship's messy aftermath. Then a quirky Moog solo by guest musician Keith Miller hits at the song's midpoint, punctuating the emotional arc with an odd, cool texture. The production pops with a big drum sound and perfect timing, balancing every layer. This song stands out for its depth. It's not about driving, but the raw, conflicting feelings after a breakup. That honesty resonates with so many. It peaked at number 15 in the US and saw a resurgence in the '97 film Boogie Nights, proving its lasting pull. That introspective vibe hooks you. Up next, there's a sound that carries you to a sunnier escape. What if a song could transport you to a sun-soaked paradise? Let's talk about Jay Ferguson's Thunder Island from 1977. This track wraps you in a sound that feels like an instant getaway. It draws you in with a smooth guitar line featuring double stops on the B and E strings. These notes evoke a breezy island breeze, perfectly matching the song's dreamy vibe. Joe Walsh, uncredited on guitar, adds a layer of skill that boosts the polished feel. Every strum carries that easy yacht rock charm. This track makes the list for its vision of carefree romance. The lyrics sketch a secluded island escape with someone special, tapping into that 70s longing for freedom. It peaked at number 9 on Billboard, and later, Ferguson found success composing for TV, showing his songwriting depth. That warm escape lingers. Stick around for a sound that shakes things up with unexpected power. What if horns could hit with the force of a freight train? Let's power through Chase's Get It On from 1971 and its electrifying sound. This track brings a boldness that grabs you and doesn't let go. It starts with Bill Chase's lead trumpet technique, reaching high frequencies that pierce through with its raw intensity. His fearsome, screeching brass section redefines what rock with brass could sound like in '71. Aggressive bass lines, pounding drums, and urgent vocals back it up, creating a relentless energy that stands out. It's on this list for pushing limits. That horn riff goes beyond typical R&B, crafting a jazz rock avalanche that rivaled Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Fun fact, it reached number 2 on Billboard, but tragedy struck when Bill Chase and several bandmates died in a plane crash soon after, cementing their one-hit status. That fierce power stays with you. Up next, a sound that lifts your spirits in a whole new way. What if a riff could carry you to a higher place? Let's explore Norman Greenbaum's Spirit in the Sky from 1970. This track blends a sound that feels both rocking and timeless. grabbing you from the first note. It kicks off with a fuzzy guitar tone from a modded Fender Telecaster. That distinct fuzz from a pioneering built-in circuit gives the song its instantly recognizable edge. Hand claps, steady drums, and gospel backing vocals by the Stovall sisters join in, creating a striking contrast with that raw rock instrumentation. That mix sets it apart, pulling you right in. This song stands out for blending boogie rock with religious themes. Greenbaum, though Jewish, aimed for a gospel vibe, bringing something fresh to the 70s airwaves. It sold 2 million copies and hit #1 in the UK, Australia, and Canada. The Stovall sisters' church-like vocals make it unforgettable. That spiritual lift hits deep. Let's move to a sound now that shifts gears with a clever warning. Ready for a tune that calls out smooth talkers with style? Let's talk about the Jaggers, the Rapper from 1970. This track blends blue-eyed soul with pop rock for a smooth, catchy vibe, and that quirky applause ending mimics a live show for a fun, unique touch. Donnie Iris's lyric about 70s rapping captures a pre-hip-hop usage of the word, highlighting a cultural snapshot of smooth-talking charmers spinning lies to win over women. The song soared to #1 on Record World Charts and #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. A massive hit. Though the Jaggers had 2 minor charting singles later, the Rapper remained their signature hit, defining their legacy. That sly warning in the riff and story mixes nostalgia with a knowing smirk. It's a standout for a reason. Stick around as we wrap up this journey through some incredible forgotten sounds. Let's close out with a look back at these 15 unforgettable riffs from one-hit wonders. Each note and story drags you straight into an era bursting with raw talent and daring ideas. The 70s were a wild mix of sounds, where even fleeting bands showed serious skill. Which riff stirred something in you? Drop a comment with your favorites, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep finding more forgotten music together.